CRMs are promising to do more and more. AI chat, robot funnels, drip campaigns, text follow up. I'm going to introduce you to the CRM we designed that promises absolutely none of that, except for converting leads into deals. We call it Hatcher and it's completely free. Now, real estate is a numbers game, but if your tools aren't converting, the numbers don't matter. So I'll show you our CRM and the follow up process that we designed after 20 years of converting leads to clients and using just about every CRM out there. Follow Up Boss, Lion Desk, KV Core, High Level, you name it. My name is Levi Jones. I'm the founder and head coach at Guerrilla Realty, and I want to make converting leads easy. Now, I don't have a course. There's no upsell after this. I'll just show you the free tool and how we use it to convert. Now, I do have a full walkthrough with step-by-step scripts, links, and everything you need to get going. Just like the video, share it with a friend, and I'll send you a private link with the resource that goes with this video, all for free. Let's dive into it. First, I'll show you how to set up your account, your free dialer, and get everything ready to convert leads to clients. Then you can't have a CRM without the C's. We got to import the customer. So I'm going to show you how to import your leads so you can get started with your follow-up and organization. And finally, I'll talk you through how to use Hatcher to stay organized and convert leads like crazy. We call that becoming a follow-up master. So you're going to start by navigating to heyhatcher.com. That's H-E-Y hatcher.com. And you're going to see a screen like this. And first things first, if you've never used any of our free tools before, you're going to just enter in your email address. If you have used one of our free tools, you can actually just click this sign in, and you can sign in using the same account that you had for Fizz Bonanza or any of our other free tools that we offer. But you're going to type in your email address, and then you'll have access to the account. All right, so once you're in your account, it's going to look something like this. You'll notice it's very, very minimal. Remember, we promise nothing except to help you convert leads to clients. And the general philosophy behind the way that we've built Hatcher is we want to help you organize follow-up contact from you. The reality is most of those AI chat robot filters or funnels and follow-up machines and all that kind of stuff, they're just not effective. And if you think about it, it makes sense. Real estate follow-up is about building relationships, and it's hard to have an AI bot build a relationship between a client and yourself. At the end of the day, what we're selling is not houses, we're selling ourselves. And so any good follow-up plan should be about selling you, okay? And again, it's going to be difficult to do that without facilitating actual live follow-up between you and the potential client. So we have 4 categories that you can drag clients in between. I'm going to show you around real quick, and then I'm going to show you how to use the most powerful feature of Hatcher, which is our dialer, which is included. It's totally free. You only have to pay for the usage, but I'll show you that in a moment. But you'll see the client. You can, of course, edit all the details, and you can make calls. You can even email them, etc., from here. But the general gist is you're going to start with someone who's unreached, brand new lead. You've never talked to them before. You're going to deliver something of value to them. In other words, we're going to initiate a positive contact with them. Okay. And this is our follow-up. I'll get more into detail in the third section of this video, as far as how we add value in the follow-up process we use. But once we have reached them, the only 2 options are we either put them in the archive. In other words, we didn't establish a positive connection with them, or we did and we drag them into the next column. Okay, those are the only 2 options. There is no nebulous cloud of leads that hang over our head that maybe sort of kind of can be something, but probably are never going to be anything. And if you've ever had that sort of internal guilt where you've just felt bad about yourself because you have a database of 2,000 leads, most of whom are not going to be doing anything with you, but maybe you could have followed up better or something like that, this is going to help you get rid of that guilt. Okay, that's what this is designed to do. Again, there's 2 options. Once you've either reached the lead or not reached them, and you can either archive them. In other words, you drag this lead right into the archive, or you drag them into the next column. In other words, we begin to progress them towards closing here at the end. Now, I'm going to show you how to set up your dialer. So you're going to go down to the settings wheel, and then you're going to click call settings. Okay. Now, when you're on call settings, the very first thing we have to do is link a Twilio account. Twilio is a third-party phone calling service. You may not have heard of it before, but it's fairly easy to set up. In fact, I have a Twilio account here, or Twilio, and so you go to twilio.com, and once you're at twilio.com, you can either click Start for Free, or if you already have a Twilio account, you can log in. I'm going to cut the video here because I'm going to go ahead and log into my account, and I'm going to show you real quick how to set up and link the Twilio account so that you can begin to use the dialer. Once you're in your Twilio account, you can probably go ahead right here and go to billing, and it's going to ask you to charge your account. Usually you add 20 bucks. If you were a power user on the dialer, that 20 bucks will last forever. Again, this money doesn't come to Hatcher or us. This is straight for usage. It is fractions of a penny per minute that you use the dialer. Again, you don't have to use the dialer to use Hatcher, but it is one of the most powerful features. And it does, Hatcher's totally free. Twilio costs a little bit of money. Again, 20 bucks would last you months of usage. So you can enter in the billing, and then you'd go down here. You're going to need the account information. You're going to take that account information and you're going to load it in. You're going to need two things: the account SID and the authorization token. Once you have those, you're going to click authorize. Your account is now linked, and you can purchase a phone number and start using the dialer. Again, I'm going to cut here so you don't see the information, and we'll go to the next, and I'll show you how to use the dialer. All right, so now I'm going to do two things. Now that the account is linked, and I clicked, I got the Twilio account linked. Now I'm going to purchase a phone number. So all you'd have to do is go to this dollar. It costs $1 to purchase a phone number in most area codes. I can choose any of this, any of these numbers. Does any of them look particularly inspiring? No, it doesn't really matter. I'm just going to go. This is my local area code. I'm purchasing it for $1. Okay. Now I have this linked, and any phone calls that I make will show up this number, in terms of return. And I can then click the callback number, because if they call that number back, I don't want it ringing to Hatcher. I want it ringing to my cell phone. If I happen to not be sitting at my desk or something like that. So I'm going to put in my phone number here, and we're going to link it. All right, now I can begin using the dialer. Now, there's two different ways. Number one, I can click here, any column, if I want to go through and start calling my things. And here's really the power of a dialer. If you've never used one before, I can't explain the psychological impact it has on your follow-up, okay? The reality is, even the most experienced callers, the phone feels really heavy sometimes. Like, oh man, I'm not feeling like calling today. When you use a dialer, you start it and then you're locked in until you're done with your session. But you can basically click Start Dialer and it'll begin calling through these leads. Again, I could call them individually as well. I can also stop them. As soon as they answer, we can have a conversation through Hatcher. I can then take notes, potentially move them along into the bribe value. Or if they say, no, I'm not interested in your service, I can drop them in the archives. Now, when you begin using a dialer, it unlocks something that's like, again, you will go from, man, I hated call sessions to, oh, that's not so bad. I can do that every day. And when you begin being really consistent with your follow-up, you're going to immediately start converting more leads than you ever have before. Now, I skipped a step a moment ago because I have an account that already has a bunch of leads in it. But let me show you how you would enter in your leads so that you can begin using the tool. So first things first, you can enter them in individually. You run into someone at the grocery store, you open up Hatcher, you come down here to the little settings wheel, you just click the plus sign, create contact, boom, you enter there, you tell them what column you want to put it in, and boom. So if you have past clients that you want to go ahead and put in your closing column, great, no problem, okay? If you have clients that you're currently working with, go ahead and put them in the client column. But a lot of you I know are going to be coming from another CRM. And so you want to go ahead and import these leads from another CRM. And so you'd go to this settings wheel, you'd go to mass import, and you can actually drag a CSV file or comma delimited file into this. You can tell what column they need to go into. initially anyways. And then you hit go and it'll automatically import all of those leads. It could be 2,000 leads in there. Now, the last way to import leads is through FizzBonanza. Now, if you don't have a FizzBonanza account, you should. FizzBonanza is completely free. It is our Fizzbo tool. All you have to do is put in a zip code. It will search all the Fizzbos available in your area, and then you can import those Fizzbos. Look, I have I have 5 results in my local zip code. So I can import any or all of these uh, into, uh, into my account, and I can begin calling through Fizzbos. Again, even if you don't have other lead sources, you're like, this is great, Levi. I don't have leads. Guess what? If you go to fizzbonanza.com, you can enter in new leads right now that you don't have to pay for, spend any money on, anything like that, and they're going to be in the in your database. Okay, so getting the leads in there is of course important. So getting the leads into your account is one thing. Converting them to clients is the final thing. And I love our tool. Our tool is only as good as the follow-up plan that goes with it. So this is the real meat of today's session. I want you to have our free Hatcher account. I'd love for you to go to heyhatcher.com right now and go ahead and sign up. But if you don't have a great follow-up plan that goes along with it, you're going to be dead in the water in terms of converting clients. The tool does not do the work, you do. Okay. And so what does that look like? Well, we've been converting clients for a long, long time. And one of the things that we have found is that, and you guys can raise your hands if you identify it, when we call a lead that doesn't know us yet, they throw up the wall. We say, hey, I saw you were calling about, or I saw you were inquiring about, or you were checking out one of my ads on 123 Main Street. Did you find everything you need? And they go, yep, I'm all set. We call that the immovable wall. And so our 48-hour follow-up plan is about building trust and relationships so that we can get over that wall. Okay, so it looks something like this. We first start with the irresistible bribe script. I'm going to show you that in just a minute. Shouldn't take more than about 5 to 10 minutes to have this call. The point of the initial call is not to set an appointment, is not to shake them down, qualify them, hard sell them, anything like that. It's simply to build trust and relationship and begin to add value. Then we actually set up the bribe. And when I say the bribe, I'm talking about the value that we offered them. Okay. That shouldn't take you more than about 5 to 10 minutes, 15 minutes max, maybe, with a lead. If they accept it, that's what I call the positive connection with the customer. About 48 hours later, we're going to use the next step script. And this is where we actually begin to push. Now that we've built a little bit of trust and we've delivered on what we said we were going to do for them, we've begun to add value. Now we're going to push them to get pre-qualified. If they're a buyer, if they're a seller, we're going to begin to, set up a listing appointment. Okay. If you do that, you will have clients. Okay. This is the 48-hour follow-up plan. So let me go into the meat and potatoes of it. Okay. So first things first, the irresistible bribe call. You can access this for free at callster.io. Okay. This is phone call number 1. This is the script. When we talk about scripts, I don't want you to think, hey, I have to memorize this. I want you to think, hey, I want the major outline points. Okay. So I'm going to say, hey, I saw you were looking at 123 Main Street or Elm Street on the website. Did you find everything you needed? Okay. They're almost always going to throw up the wall. I love that. I love that sound. My brother started using that. That's the wall that we've all become familiar with. And unfortunately, when some agents hear that wall, they go, oh, it's a looky-loo. They're playing around online. It's not a real lead, whatever. I would argue that it's actually a great lead, and this is what we should expect. They're going to say, yep, I'm all set. Okay. So how do you get over that wall? Okay. So first things first, I'm going to ask them one question. And this is, I want to find out if this buyer lead also has a local home to sell. Statistically, about 37% of all buyer leads have a home to sell. So I'm going to go ahead and ask them, hey, are you selling your current home or keeping it? Now, they're either going to tell me, yeah, I am selling my house, or this is going to be a second home purchase for me, or, oh, we're renting right now. I'm going to get a lot of information just by asking this. Most importantly, I'm going to find out if they're part of the 37% of buyer leads that have a local home to sell. I want to find out on the very first phone call if that's true, because if it is, The way that I'm going to get over the wall is I'm going to offer them a bribe. Okay. Now, bribe is another way of saying, hey, I'm going to offer them value on this call. So I'm going to say, hey, we have a free service that might be helpful. Bulletproof CMA. Basically, we'll do a free home valuation. That's what CMA stands for, comparative market analysis, the fancy term. But basically, we'll do a 50-point statistical analysis. We'll look at all aspects of the area, your home, et cetera. And we're going to come up with a home valuation for you that's going to stand up to any amount of scrutiny. Blah, 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 blah. We're going to give them the pitch on offering them a home valuation. Now, if they have a home to sell and they're a buyer lead, they're already thinking, I wonder what we could get for our house, because that's going to inform how much that they could, potentially buy for, right? And then I'm going to say, hey, would that be helpful to know what your house would sell for? What we have found is that when we offer this, if they're a seller and they answered yes to that first question, about 75% of the leads that we talk to ultimately want a home valuation. Now, if you had a CMA request in your inbox, how many, if you had 10 of them, how many do you think that you could ultimately close? I'm going to pause for a second. And by close, I mean you could actually list their home if you had 10 CMA requests. Okay, pause for a second. My bet is some of you may have been super confident and you were like, if I had 10 CMA requests, I'd be listing all 10 of them. Some of you might be like, you know what, I'm pretty average. I could do 5 of them. Or some of you might even be not all that confident at all in yourself, and you go, well, I might could do 1 or 2. My bet is that if you had 10 CMA requests sitting in your inbox right now, none of you would say 0. Okay, none of you. So no matter what, we're talking about a listing here. Okay. Now, some people, the other whatever 63% are going to go, no, don't have a home. I'm moving up. This is a second home or whatever. They're not selling. Okay. So that's when I offer the second bribe. Okay. The second bribe is I say, hey, we have this brand new service where we can actually set you up to receive listings via email. Okay. MLS auto emails, blah, 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 blah. A lot of times you're even going to get to see them before agents see them. Okay. And they're going to go, oh yeah, I guess that sounds good. And this is a bribe that makes sense because they were probably searching on, some website, Zillow, whatever, and you're offering them free MLS access and you're going to set up the search for them. Okay. Now, this is the entirety of our first call. If you've delivered a bribe, if you've delivered value, you've had a positive connection with the customer, you've begun to build trust and a relationship to this customer that's going to set up our second call when we get them pre-qualified. But that's the irresistible bribe. Now, in between, we're going to set up the bribe. We're either going to do the CMA that we promised we were going to do, or we're going to set them up for the MLS, right? And so if they were a buyer, we set them up for the MLS search. And so we say, hey, did you get the listings that we emailed over? How'd they look? And they're going to go, yeah, I got them. Or no, I didn't get them. Well, have you checked your spam folder? And you're going to have a normal, human interaction with them. And a lot of times at this point, they're going to, they're fine. I didn't see anything that I super, like. They looked all right is sort of the normal answer. And I'm going to say, I'm positive if you just wait for that thing you're going to be amazed at how fast you find something you love. And then I ask them a question. I say, can I offer some advice? Okay. If they're a buyer, can I offer some advice? And it's important to ask this question first before you just start telling them what to do. Most people are going to go, yeah, I guess so. And you say, look, your next step is that you are going to want to be pre-approved for a lot of different reasons. But most importantly, if you did find the home that you wanted, it would be impossible to even put an offer down if we don't have a pre-approval. It's also going to tell you what your finances are like, if there's anything that needs to be improved, et cetera, et cetera. And when they say yes, and again, about half of all the people that we talk to at this next step call ultimately say, yeah, that sounds good. We can get pre-approved. Now we have them pre-approved. You would be amazed at the transition a buyer has when all of a sudden they have access to money. Okay. They went from, hey, I'm kind of looking around, not really interested in connecting with an agent, to, hey, let's get down to business. Let's start looking for a house. Now, if they were a seller and you've set up the CMA, I say, hey, We're nearly finished with your CMA. The last step is to walk around the outside of your house. When's the time you and your husband will be home? Okay. And again, you're trying to set up the listing appointment. You guys can take it from that point. If you do these 2 calls, you're going to begin to convert leads like crazy. And again, the secret is using Hatcher, in particular, the dialer, so that you can begin to lock yourself into that. Hey, I'm prospecting every day. I'm calling through all of my new leads. I'm calling through, the leads that I've gotten in touch with. Now I'm doing my next step call, et cetera, et cetera. So there's the plan that we've come up with that we've used for the last 15 years. And if you're struggling to get leads, we have tons of videos on this channel on how to generate leads, but this is going to be the one on how to convert those leads and do it in a way and an effectiveness and efficiency that you've never done before. I appreciate you sticking with me. Now, if you're serious about converting more clients, it's time to stop outsourcing the #1 piece of value you have to offer: yourself. To get the full in-depth training that goes along with this, including a free download of the swipe file with all the tools, scripts, and resources you need to get started, here's what to do next. First, like the video, share it with a friend who needs a new CRM, and then tell us below that you did. After that, I'll send you a private link with everything 100% for free. Now, we do 2 videos a week where we introduce new tools, strategies just like this. So go ahead and subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you don't miss anything. I'll see you on the next one.
Look, we've doubled our real estate business 3 times since 2019. If you want the full breakdown, exact scripts, step-by-step processes, and our brand new tool, drop a comment below.
No gimmicks, no paywalls. We're sending it completely free because we know it works.
Just type "send it" in the comments and we'll get it to you ASAP.
And if this was helpful, stick with us. We're dropping more strategies twice a week. Hit subscribe so you don't miss what's next.